What is it like when a relationship ends? It can be obviously devastating for some. For other people, though, it's more like a bump in the road. When it comes to celebrities, though, getting back out there is often very different.
It's been a year and a half since actor Liam Neeson's wife, Natasha Richardson, died in a tragic skiing accident. Last weekend, British newspapers photographed him with his rumored new girlfriend, raising the question, when is the right time to move on?
I don't think he's going to try to replace her at all. I think he's just trying to fill that void that he lost with her.
It's been a year and a half, and he's making the decision to move on and show that he still has the spirit of living. So I respect that, and more power to him.
But what about cases of infidelity? Less than 6 weeks after finalizing his divorce from Sandra Bullock, bad boy Jesse James flaunted his affection for new girlfriend Kat Von D.
It's probably something like revenge or something, you know.
Earlier this summer, former Frasier star Kelsey Grammer's 13-year marriage to wife Camille ended due to irreconcilable differences. But Grammer was soon out and about with a new woman who also happens to be carrying the actor's 5th child.
If you've still got that guilt or that shame or whatever on your heart from that last relationship and you go into a new one, it's not going to work out.
So how long do you have to wait if you're the one who's been cheated on?
About an hour and a half.
And we have a couple of relationship experts here with us this morning to talk about moving on. Heide Banks, who blogs for the Huffington Post, a relationship expert, and also Matt Titus, founder of theloveconsultants.com. Good to have both of you with us this morning.
Thanks.
So this is such a tough question, I think, the right time to move on, because it depends on the situation. Say, a divorce, Matt, versus being widowed. Two very different situations.
Very different. You know, life doesn't provide us with perfectly timed introductions to our potential soulmates or significant others. You know, it's just not done that way. I had a client that actually met her second husband at her first husband's wake.
At the wake?
At the wake. Can you imagine?
It seems a little insensitive.
It's insensitive, but, you know, if I had to put a chronological timeline to it, I'd say divorce, 1 year, widowed, 2.
All right,
after
Heidi?
that.
Oh, no. And Matt and I are so used to disagreeing.
Yes, we are.
So he'll let me go on with this. Yes, love doesn't have a timeline, but open hearts do. And when your heart is open, when you've been in a good relationship, even if you lost your mate, you know the value of relationships. So you might go on in a month. You might find somebody the next week. But you might have been in a 20-year marriage where you went through a divorce, and it could take 10 years to heal from that.
So every situation is different.
Every situation is different.
What about, though, when there are other people involved, and I'm talking specifically about kids, when you're in a relationship with kids, how does that change things, whether it's a divorce, whether it's a death? Heidi, I'll let you kick this one off.
Kids are always a consideration.
Yes, a consideration, but they're not like the tribunal to decide on who you're dating. They don't have a high level of emotional maturity. They don't have relationship experience. They should be consulted after.
Their priority, though. You have to admit, they are the priority.
Would you say, Heidi, they should be consulted after the relationship becomes significant? That's
So you don't want to introduce it too soon, is what you're saying?
No,
But
never.
definitely talk to them about it and make them present in these, not in the decision necessarily,
It's a great opportunity to talk to them about what real love is. I mean, one of the things we're looking at in our culture today is people don't understand real love. They understand romance on the movie screen, but they don't understand real love. So to say to them, look, I lost your father, or we're in a divorce, but I believe in love.
So you believe in love. It's interesting because you say, you know, keep your heart open. You never know when it's going to come.
Right.
Are there certain signs that we can then look for, because it is such a personal decision, for us to know that this, A, could be a good thing, and B, I'm ready?
The biggest sign to me is, you know, when you think of somebody new and you don't want to throw up in your mouth because you're so,
You know, Matt, you always have such a way
yeah,
with
but you're
words.
you're just so, you know, still connected to the person that you're not with.
Yeah.
You know, one sign, you start noticing other attractive people. You're more social. You're ready to go out there with your friends. Those kinds of things are indicators that maybe you're ready.
And you've moved the pictures, and you've moved from your head as well as from your mantle. You've taken those photos
Head and
down.
mantle?
You've taken
I love this.
Oh, good,
Genius.
good.
Seriously.
You're taking those photos down. You stop talking about them all the time. It's like you go on a date, and it's not like, well, my ex would never have ordered that for dinner.
Yeah, that's not a good thing to do.
That's not always a good way to kick off that
No.
date. Who do you think it's harder for? Ladies first on this one, women or men?
You know, everybody wants to say it's easier for a man to move on because they seem to move on faster, and in most cases they do. But it doesn't mean they move on to a better relationship. It just means they moved on. So I think, and men also get the value out of relationships more than women do. You know, the stable home, you make more money. All of the research has said this. But I do believe it's equally as hard for a man and a woman to move on.
No. I think men move on a lot faster. Women are a little more emotionally connected to past relationships. They tend to remember the roses and not the thorns. When a man, you like my cliches? They're just great,
lovely.
aren't they?
They're just rolling off the tongue.
Thank you.
And I'd like to interview his ex-wife on the roses. roses and thorns.
Thank you. Let's talk about my
That's a
ex-wife
separate
again.
segment.
Perfect. I just think it's easier for men to move on because we're also much more physically based than women a lot of times.
Yes, you are. As we've discussed several times on
Yes,
the program, too.
yes.
Okay, so last question for you guys. We talked about the kids, but in all honesty, especially when it comes to something like a death in the family, you are going to get input from everyone in your family. Heidi, how much do you weigh that? How much do you listen to those voices?
Well, you listen with the ears of loving. That's the most important thing.
Ears of loving.
Because no matter who's speaking to you, no matter who's speaking to you, like I'm listening to the ears of loving right now, what they're trying to say is, we love you, we want to see you move on. It's a personal thing. Thank them.
Right.
Be nice. Say thank you very much, but I'm doing the best I can, and move on.
You're too polite. Stay out of my business if you want me to be happy. Let me do my thing, and I'll introduce you to the right person when I'm ready, please.
All right. Matt Titus, Heide Banks, great to have both of you with us.
Thank you.
We'll
Always
make a
fun.
list of all those cliches and fun.
Please do.
Thanks, guys.